Among the shadowed projects attributed to Nazi Germany, one name continues to surface quietly, persistently: Die Glocke, the bell. Not because we know exactly what it was, but because its story refuses to disappear. Fragments, rumours, and a silence where record should be. Unlike conventional weapons programs of the Third Reich, Die Glocke does not appear in captured Allied intelligence files or surviving technical archives. It trails after the war, emerging through indirect accounts spoken cautiously and never fully released to the public. That absence is not proof of fiction, but it is the space where legends take shape. The most detailed version of the story comes from Polish researcher Igor Wikowski, who claimed he was shown transcripts from an interrogation of an SS officer. According to Wikowski, he was allowed to read the documents but not copy them, photograph them, or remove them. Those transcripts have never surfaced. What remains is testimony about testimony, and questions no archive has answered. According to these legends, Die Glocke was allegedly housed in a secret underground facility in Lower Silesia, near what is now called the Wenceslas mine. Above the site stands a strange concrete structure, later nicknamed the Fly Trap. The structure exists, its purpose remains unknown. Heavy cable channels lead downward into the ground, but no definitive documentation explains what they once powered. The device itself was described as a large, bell-shaped object, roughly 12 to 14 feet tall, constructed from a dense ceramic-like material. When active, it was said to emit a low humming or hissing sound. Inside, according to the story, were two rotating cylinders filled with a luminous, violet substance, often referred to as Serum 525. No verified chemical record of such a substance exists, yet the description has endured. The alleged testimony is often attributed to SS General Jacob Sporenberg, an officer executed after the war. Here the record becomes uncertain. Sporenberg was not stationed in the area where Die Glocke was supposedly developed. No confirmed interrogation transcript referencing Die Glocke exists in known archives. This contradiction has led historians to question how the account was assembled, whether details were misunderstood, misattributed, or deliberately obscured. This story also claims the device was extremely hazardous. Personnel reportedly suffered vertigo, neurological damage, and fatal exposure. Prisoners from the Gross Rosen concentration camp were allegedly used during testing. Many died shortly afterward. These claims cannot be independently verified, but they persist because they echo patterns of real SS behavior, where secrecy, brutality, and human cost were routine. Control of the project is often linked to Hans Kammler, an SS officer known to oversee highly classified construction and weapons programs. Kammler disappeared at the end of the war. What became of him remains unclear. There is no direct record tying him to Die Glocke, but the overlap of secrecy, authority, and disappearance continues to fuel speculation. What keeps Die Glocke alive is not proof, it is atmosphere, a regime capable of extraordinary cruelty, projects hidden even from those building them, documents destroyed, lost, or never created. When evidence vanishes, imagination moves in, not to deceive, but to explain the void. In later years, Die Glocke was recast as everything from an anti-gravity engine to a time manipulation device. These interpretations were not part of the earliest accounts. They later emerged shaped by books, television, and fiction. Most historians today classify Die Glocke as a post-war legend, one constructed from fragments, rumour, and the undeniable secrecy of Nazi signs. When a story survives without records, does that make it false, or simply unresolved? Die Glocke may never have existed as a machine, but the conditions that created its legend were real: unchecked power, hidden research, and a world where terrible things were done in silence. And sometimes the most revealing stories are not the ones we can prove, but the ones that expose how fear, secrecy, and imagination can merge and echo through history like a bell that never quite stops ringing.